Christmas has a strange way of showing you who people really are. Sometimes it arrives wrapped in lights and laughter. Other times, it slips quietly into your life through a single message you were never meant to read. That night, my phone buzzed with a text from my boss. One sentence, one mistake, and a question that would change both of our lives forever. Before we jump into the story, take a second to support the channel. If stories about kindness, unexpected moments, and real human connections move you, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. It helps more people find stories like this on your channel name. Now, let me tell you what happened. I'd been working at the company for almost 3 years. I was dependable, quiet, and invisible in the way most employees are when they just do their job and go home. My boss, Melissa, was professional, sharp, and always busy. We spoke in meetings, exchanged emails, and that was about it. She wasn't cold, but she wasn't warm either. A week before Christmas, the office was winding down. People were counting vacation days, talking about travel plans, and sneaking out early when they could. I didn't have much planned. My parents lived out of state, flights were expensive, and I decided to stay home and work a few extra shifts. That evening, around 9 p.m., my phone buzzed. The message was from Melissa. At first, I thought it was a work-related text. Maybe she needed a file or had forgotten something. But when I opened it, my heart stopped. It read, "I wish, just once, I could wake up on Christmas morning and not feel alone." I stared at the screen. I read it again and again. I knew instantly it wasn't meant for me. A few seconds later, another message came through. "I'm so sorry. That wasn't meant for you. Please ignore it." I sat there, phone in my hand, feeling like I'd accidentally looked into someone's soul without permission. Part of me wanted to pretend I never saw it. That was the professional thing to do. But something about that message wouldn't let me go. I typed back slowly, "It's okay. You don't need to apologize." There was a pause, long enough that I wondered if I'd crossed a line just by replying. Then another message appeared. "Do you want to make it come true?" I honestly didn't know how to respond. Was she joking? Was she embarrassed? Was this some awkward attempt to recover from a mistake? So I answered honestly, "What do you mean?" She replied almost immediately, "I mean, would you like to come over for Christmas morning? Just breakfast, nothing weird. I just don't want to be alone." I leaned back on my couch and exhaled. My boss, my very private, very controlled boss, asking me, her employee, to spend Christmas morning with her. Every logical part of my brain told me this was a bad idea. Boundaries, awkwardness, HR nightmares. But another part of me, the human part, remembered that message, that simple, quiet wish, and I thought about my own Christmas plans, or lack of them. So I typed, "Yes, I'd like that." Christmas morning came faster than I expected. I showed up at her house with a small box of pastries from a local bakery and a knot of nerves in my stomach. When she opened the door, she didn't look like my boss. She looked like a woman who hadn't slept much. Her hair was loose, she wore a soft sweater, and when she smiled, it was nervous but real. "I'm really glad you came," she said. Her house was warm and beautifully decorated, but there was a quiet emptiness to it. No music playing, no other voices, just the two of us. We sat at the kitchen table, sipping coffee, making polite small talk at first. Work, weather, nothing deep. Then, out of nowhere, she laughed softly and said, "This is the first time I've had breakfast with someone on Christmas in 5 years." I didn't know what to say, so I just listened. She told me her husband had passed away suddenly years earlier. How the holidays never felt the same after that. How she buried herself in work because it was easier than going home to silence. "I didn't mean to send you that message," she said quietly, but once it happened, I realized how tired I was of pretending I was fine. Something shifted in that moment. She wasn't my boss anymore. She was just Melissa. A person who had lost someone and kept going because she didn't know how to stop. We talked for hours. About grief, about expectations, about how lonely people can feel even when they seem successful. At one point, she said, "I've always tried to be strong. I didn't realize how much I needed kindness until I accidentally asked for it." That sentence stayed with me. Before I left, she hugged me. Not a polite hug, a real one. The kind where someone holds on just a second longer than expected. "Thank you," she said. "You gave me a Christmas I didn't think I'd ever have again. I thought that was the end of it. But kindness has a way of multiplying. After the holidays, things at work felt different. Not unprofessional, just human. She checked in more. She listened more. And slowly, that warmth spread through the office. A few months later, she started a small tradition. Every Friday, one employee would share something meaningful in their life. No pressure, no judgment. Some talked about family, others about struggles. Some just shared a small win. The office changed. People softened. They helped each other more. And one afternoon, Melissa pulled me aside. "That text," she said, "was the scariest thing I've ever sent. But it reminded me that letting people in isn't weakness. It's how we survive." I walked home that day thinking about how close I'd come to ignoring that message, to choosing comfort over compassion. Kindness doesn't always look grand. Sometimes it's just showing up. Sometimes it's saying yes when it would be easier to say no. That Christmas wish was never about breakfast. It was about being seen. And all it took was one accidental message and one simple act of kindness to make it come true. If this story touched you, remember this. You never know how much your presence might mean to someone else. A small moment of kindness can become a turning point in someone's life. So this season, and every season, choose to show up. Choose to listen. Choose kindness.